Welcome to Gamers Utopia. Today, I am going to tell you the whole story of King of Tekken game series, aka the King of the Iron Fist tournament. King is the name of two fictional characters in the Tekken fighting game series. The characters were inspired by the pro wrestler Satoru Sayama, as well as Mexican wrestler Fray Tormenta, a Catholic priest who became a masked wrestler in order to support an orphanage. One of the Kings has been in all the Tekken games to date, King 1 being in Tekken and Tekken 2, and King 2 being in the rest of the Tekken games from then on. Reception to the overall character has been incredibly positive since the beginning of the series, with King being described as a fan favorite and is generally considered to be one of the series' more iconic characters. The first King used to be a ruthless street brawling orphan with no care in the world except fighting. In one of his fights, King was grievously wounded and collapsed in front of a monastery. The Marquez priests saved him from death. After recovering, King realized the error of his ways and resolved to start a new life. He became a Catholic priest and renounced his old fighting ways. He then became a man with a mission. He dreamed of building an orphanage for street children, hoping to save them from becoming the kind of person he used to be. Eventually, he was successful in building an orphanage, but funds were tight. To bring income to the orphanage, King fought in wrestling matches, donning his now iconic jaguar mask to conceal his identity and acquiring the title Beast Priest. It was at this time that King came to the attention of his future rival Armor King, one of a wrestling tag team who also wore jaguar masks. Early in his career, King accidentally crushed the eye of Armor King during a match. King has won many titles since, whilst the injury caused Armor King's career to plummet. King entered the first King of Iron Fist tournament in order to obtain them. He managed to defeat Armor King and get third place, winning enough prize money for the orphanage. After a child died in his care, King became depressed and, giving up his jaguar mask, returned to the street and became a raging alcoholic. He would have died had he not been convinced by his old friend and rival, Armor King, to again wear the jaguar mask and join the King of Iron Fist tournament too. King trained intensely and recovered from his alcoholism. He battled Armor King in a rematch at the tournament and was defeated. After the tournament, King participated in both pro wrestling and martial arts tournaments to win money for his orphanage. He also taught his fighting skills to the children under his care as a means of self-defense. Sometime later on, Ogre, the god of fighting, was awakened from an ancient ruin in Mexico by Heihachi Mishima's Tekken force. Ogre attacked several martial artists around the world, including King, who was killed afterwards. The second King was a street urchin who was brought up in the first King's orphanage. Until the age of 24, this wrestler worked hard with King until one day, news broke of the first King's death at the hands of Ogre. Seeing that the orphanage would crumble into ruin, the money gained from King's wrestling matches was the only funding received. This man donned the mask of King and imitated his style. However, since his technique was learned just from watching King, not training with him, he lost every competition he entered. One day, however, another man with a mask visited the new King, introducing himself as an old friend. This man revealed himself to be Armor King, who was interested in finding out if the rumors of a new King were true. For 4 years, the two of them trained, and the new King learned quickly, maturing into a forceful wrestler with extreme power, known as King 2. By this time, the now 28-year-old wrestler was a worthy heir to the throne. However, he longed to punish the one responsible for the original King's death. With rumors of the god of fighting circulating, Armor King revealed to his student that the elusive entity was the one most likely responsible. Armor King watched as the new King, fueled with rage, set his sights on avenging his foster father's death and proving himself worthy of wearing the mask. After the third King of Iron Fist tournament, King, now 30, discovered that his master, Armor King, had been killed in a bar fight. The perpetrator, Craig Marduk, had been arrested in Arizona and was sent to prison. Upon Marduk's release, thanks to bribes paid by King himself, King sent a letter challenging Marduk to the tournament in Tekken 4. He defeated Marduk in the 4th King of Iron Fist tournament, sending him to the hospital, where King followed him to deliver a deadly blow. However, he stopped after seeing a portrait of Marduk and his elderly parents. King let him live, realizing how foolish he had become. King was later enraged to find out that what appeared to be Marduk was defeating opponents in a black jaguar mask identical to Armor King's, and that he had issued a televised challenge to King. Believing it to be truly Marduk disgracing his master, King entered the 5th King of Iron Fist tournament to settle the score once and for all. King would meet Marduk in the King of Iron Fist Tournament 5, where he claimed to want to fight King fair and square, which confused King since what he heard and saw televised was foul play, and their subsequent battle resulted in another victory against Marduk and the start of their friendship and King's belief that it was not Marduk he saw televised. However, after the tournament, Marduk was brutally attacked, and he told King that the assailant was apparently the man he was convicted of killing, Armor King. Determined to learn the true identity of the man in Armor King's mask, King and Marduk entered the King of Iron Fist Tournament 6. While splitting up from Marduk, who went to Armor King's grave, King visited his late master's room and found out from his old picture that other Armor King had a connection to him. By the time he arrived at the cemetery where Marduk and other Armor King are, King and Marduk found out that he is the vengeful younger brother of original Armor King himself. King returns as a playable character in Tekken 7, with an alternate costume based on New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestler Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada being available for him in 2017. After Marduk and the younger Armor King ended up hospitalized themselves for ignoring King's peaceful treaties, King enters the tournament for not only their hospital bills and try to make amends with each other, but also the orphan he resided too. Once Marduk and Armor King 2 recovered, but realizing the peaceful amends might not go well if they keep fighting each other, King sets up the match between them in order to avoid any sort of possible bloodshed, starting from suggesting Marduk to send a challenge letter titled Retirement Match once Armor King 2 fully recovered after Marduk does.